there, and welcome back to Utility Sports. In today's video, we are covering a potential MLB expansion, which is really, really exciting considering we haven't had a league expansion since 1998 when they brought in the Arizona Diamondbacks and also the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, looking at it here, I think that baseball could definitely use this in terms of generating more revenue, creating more excitement, and also it's just going to be really good for the game. Now, there's a lot of potential cities that are, going to be in the mix here, but there's some key cities that have the framework kind of ready to go in case of an MLB expansion. Now, it's likely they're going to be adding just two teams to go from 30 to 32 MLB franchises, which is really awesome. Now, let's talk about some of the cities that are potentially in the mix right now. We already have an ownership group that's kind of lined up in Nashville. That's all put together. They already have the idea that they would be called the Nashville Stars, which I think that would be really awesome. I think Nashville definitely market-wise could support an MLB franchise. They're craving another pro sports team in that area. To me, I think it makes a lot of sense for them to be able to gain a baseball team. They have the ownership group. They're kind of, the more ready city for that to, kind of take place. Now, another city that very well could be seeing a franchise is Las Vegas. To me, Las Vegas continues to expand in obviously pro sports. Having the Raiders there is a very, very big deal. You have the Golden Knights. This is a city that's going to continue to expand and grow. So Las Vegas is definitely on people's radars. And that also could be more of a relocation rather than an expansion. Another city we have is Portland. Portland is another, area that definitely could use a pro sports team as well. Obviously, you have the Trailblazers there. You're able to add an MLB franchise up in that northwest portion of the United States. That could be a winning move, in my opinion. But Portland is another big one. And some of the more underdogs here in this, to me, you're looking at Austin, Texas. You're looking at San Antonio. I very well believe that the state of Texas could support 3 MLB franchises. I think the market is large enough down there, just where there's so much to love about what Texas has to offer in terms of supporting a baseball team. And, look at the NBA. They're able to support 3 NBA franchises. I think they can do the same with baseball. Another one that's been kind of a hot buzz has been Charlotte. Charlotte is definitely in consideration, in my opinion, to be able to host a franchise. Once again, this is an area that's looking to expand their pro teams. So that could be very, very good. Now, Rob Manfred talked about it. It's very realistic to really get this in motion. They're currently right now trying to sell the Washington Nationals. And I think if you were to add expansion, 2 more teams, which means more revenue, which, these franchises become more and more valuable as well. I think in that process that helped the transition of selling the Washington Nationals, which they very well could sell between $2 and $3 billion. So that's something to kind of keep in mind here. That's kind of the market evaluation for the Washington Nationals. Now let's kind of talk about some teams that very well could move during this process, this realignment, all of these changes. To me, I definitely see a team like Tampa Bay moving. They already were considering splitting the cities between Montreal and Tampa Bay and having them play in both. I just don't think that's super conducive for fan interest. I don't like that at all. They were trying to make that happen, and that was just not a realistic outcome, really at any portion of it. So that idea has been kind of pushed to the wayside. Montreal, once again, they could get a team themselves after losing the Expos, obviously. But now kind of looking at it, Tampa Bay is a team that very, very well could move. They're having a tough time supporting the Rays. Old outdated stadium, that's never good. So I really see the Tampa Bay Rays as being the team that's going to move first. And then also you have the Oakland Athletics, which there is going to be a big fee for these teams relocating. And that's just going to be the fact of the matter. However, it will be worth it for some of these ownership groups. If that means long-term revenue being added in, I can see that being something that works out for these franchises. Sure, you're going to take a big upfront cost. However, it's going to be good. Now, let's kind of shift back to Tampa Bay. What does that really mean if Tampa Bay moves? I think it's going to help Tampa Bay moving into whatever city they go to. just considering not a lot of fan interest, despite the team being very, very good the last couple of seasons. Minimal fan interest still. They have the smallest capacity stadium, and they don't even fill that up. And so I think them moving kind of creates an opportunity for that state as well. Florida is not a state to me that can really support two MLB franchises. Case in point, the Rays are always at the bottom of attendance, and so are the Marlins. Moving the Tampa Bay Rays out and just having it be a one team in the Florida area, in the Miami Marlins, I think to me makes way too much sense. I really do believe that all fans of baseball are going to have to travel to Miami to make that happen. So that would help out the Marlins. It would help out the Rays. That's a winning scenario. The Oakland Athletics obviously did a big sell job this offseason, and now they are definitely paying for it with their attendance. Very, very, very small crowds of 5,000 that we've seen so far this season. It has not been good, a good outcome for the Oakland Athletics. A team that's very rich in their history in the city of Oakland. I don't think that it's going to work out for the Oakland Athletics. I think that they probably will have to move. Once again, the stadium is an issue. The Coliseum, not good. In my opinion, they have to be moving soon. Tropicana is not a good stadium. And then you're going to have this expansion franchises coming in. There could be a lot of really good progressive change for Major League Baseball, in my opinion, moving forward. To me, that's very, very important. Always trying to progress, get better, make the game more exciting, make the cities make more sense. All in all, I think that's a really good opportunity for Major League Baseball to kind of look at themselves and say, okay, let's make some big changes here. Let's redraw up some interest. Let's get some new fans. And I think that's the perfect way to do it if you are Major League Baseball. There's a lot to love about all of this coming together. Once again, kind of recapping on these expansion cities, I think it makes a ton of sense for Nashville to get a team. Charlotte's definitely in consideration. Austin, Texas, San Antonio are realistic outcomes. You have Portland, which is trying to gather an ownership group. That could be very interesting up in that northwest region of the United States. So overall, I think that's something that's really, really exciting, something that you can look forward to if you're a baseball fan. And they plan on making this come in motion soon. They're really going to get that framework built out. Obviously, stadiums are going to have to be built. Ownership groups are going to be, thrown together. There's a lot that has to take place when having an expansion for a league. And I think Major League Baseball should be ready to go, and don't make the same mistake that the NHL made and do one expansion team and then wait and then do another one to get back to your even number that you require. I think that's just a mistake in general. And then you should kind of go all full-fledged to bring two franchises in the same year and just have that all together, because you're not really up against a clock. So let's just do it. Let's do it right. Let's make sure that this is exactly what we want to do. So once again, let me know in the comment section below, what cities do you think deserve MLB franchises? What ones do you think can support an actual MLB franchise? Those are some big questions we have to be asking ourselves. Is the market viable, and is the fan base going to support it? Once again, that's something that we have to consider while doing this, because you don't want to have the same mistake that the Rays made and didn't really get a true market analysis for that franchise, that city. It just turned into a logistical nightmare for Major League Baseball. Thanks again for stopping by. Hit that subscribe button if you are new. Also, leave a like on today's video if you did enjoy the content. Thanks for swinging by, and we will catch you in the very next Utility Sports video.